Ladies and gentlemen, in order to get you ready for playoffs, I'm here to run you through the 6 teams that are going to be battling for the crown to become the kings of Europe. Ever since their roster reveal, Fnatic have been the favourites to go all the way this split. Their impeccable team fighting is a result of the core members having tons of time to learn each other's playstyles. Oh, did we mention they've also got the most statistically dominant AD carry in Europe? Rekkles has dominated this split, playing calm, cool and collected while he has bodied the rest of the competition. To top things off, they've also got one hell of a mechanically gifted mid laner in Caps, who can easily beat down his opposing laner. But keep an eye out for mid lane ganks, because every great player has an Achilles heel. G2 have transformed into a topside focused squad, where they primarily play through their 2 massive carries in Perkz and Wunder. It makes sense that they're one of the finest split pushing teams in the league. Wunder is at his absolute best when he's playing a carry and told to set up a 10 in a side lane. The drawback is that the team has trouble adjusting when he's forced onto a tankier option, and not able to control the game's tempo as effectively. Their bot lane, while not a weakness in the traditional sense, is an emphasis in most games. This means that if they're shut down, the opposition look to take advantage. It's just best to hope that Perkz and Wunder aren't out of control by then. Korbet and Kasing have been the stable bottom lane that this Splice roster has built the foundations upon. While at the start they had to over-rely on this, Xerxes and Odo have developed into a dynamic duo that have brought Splice more success than they could have ever hoped for. One of the problems for this roster is that their laners never quite earn leads without assistance, especially in the mid lane where they don't always get a full return on their investment. Attacking their over-reliance on Xerxes' playmaking ability may be the best way to solve the Splice Boys puzzle. Vitality made a name for themselves with their relentless early game aggression that's centered around the middle lane. Their near delusional levels of confidence and belief in their teammates has led to a variety of unique strategies throughout the split. From teleporting backdoor AD carries to off-meta selections in every role, how this team will approach a best of 5 remains a mystery to everyone but them. Jizuke. He's the focal point of this team and my favourite to win Rookie of the Split due to his mechanical prowess and charismatic playstyle. However, their jungler can be more of a wildcard. Gilius is known to be a bit slow to the smite key and for some interesting decisions throughout his career. They'll need him to bring his A game if they want to beat the odds and take the Spring Split crown. From a 1-7 start to a spot in playoffs, this is one of the biggest turnarounds in the history of the EU LCS. After their terrible start, they knew the roster needed a shakeup, and once they acquired Selfie and Shook, they started to pick up win after win. While they've shown sparks of early game potential, H2K is over-reliant on their stronger than average teamfights to pull out wins. The lack of jungle pressure from Shook and the consistent, rather than dominating laners, means that opponents should be able to key in on the early game and look to snowball from there. They'll just need to be able to out-teamfight H2K to close them out. ROCCAT ended their post-season drought when they purchased their first ticket to playoffs since 2015. They continued their tradition of taking every other team's spare change players and turning them into something way more valuable. Their jungler, Memento, has been one of the best performers at the position this split, and their vision control is second to none. This helps them to secure objectives like Baron cleanly, while maintaining control over the mid-game. They struggle mightily when they fall behind though. The lack of individual star power means that comeback wins aren't really in the team's vocabulary, and if they can't get their wards down, it's lights out for ROCCAT. The playoffs will be kicking off this weekend, with Splice going up against ROCCAT on Friday at 6 PM CET, followed by Vitality and H2K on Saturday at 5 PM CET.